gonna try to show you that I just applied to ASU electrical engineering program. And I just applied yesterday, so it's gonna be a long while before they actually give me any kind of answer. I would be lying if I were to say that I'm not completely nervous, and kind of also have my hopes up for this program just because it's a long story. So please buckle yourself in to hear this whole spiel that I'm going to talk about. But as soon as I graduated high school, I did not immediately jump back into college, because my senior year of high school, I got a job. I liked that I was making money, and I liked that I had my own money to spend. I decided that when I wanted to graduate high school, that I wanted to move out on my own. Everybody was making such a big deal about college and universities and what you're gonna do after. I honestly did not know what I wanted to do. There was probably some kids that knew exactly what they wanted to do, but I would go as far to say that even those kids that genuinely knew what they wanted back then and working towards that probably changed their mind once they finally made it to university, and probably changed their majors and stuff like that. I barely graduated, if I'm being completely honest. My GPA was like 2 point something. I had horrible grades. I think probably a month after I had graduated high school, I moved out on my own. I got my first apartment. I'm not going to lie, like, I did a lot of partying and experimenting with a lot of stuff, because I mean, I had nobody to tell me like I couldn't do that, because I was paying my own rent. I lived on my own. I was paying my own bills. Anyways, 3 years after I'd graduated high school, I decided I wanted to go to community college, and I was told by everybody around me is that I needed to go back to school if I wanted to make any kind of difference in the world, or if I wanted to make sure that I would get a high-paying job or be successful and all that stuff. But I, just like everybody else probably, I wasn't really necessarily guided in the way of like, what exactly does that mean? Which industry should I go in? Everybody, pretty much your friends, your family, faculty, they would just tell you like, you know, if you just work hard, like, you can be successful in any career or any field. And that's something that is not necessarily true. When I finally went back to community college, I went for liberal arts. So I took 2 classes for 2 semesters, and then I dropped out after that because I just didn't know still what I wanted to do. Sorry, my camera battery died. I think I was talking about something about paying for ASU when I finally got there. I didn't get any financial aid. I just took 1 class, and that cost me about $3,000. I also was out of state, so super expensive. So once I started finally working full-time enough, I was able to pay off that 1 class at ASU with my own money, the cash out of my pocket. Anyway, so I had moved to San Diego, California. I had finally found a full-time job in San Diego after several months of living there. I was able to start making money, and my life was getting better. I had my own apartment and all this stuff. Once I was like in a routine, I finally decided that I want to go back to school. So I did not know what I wanted to go to school for. So I went to community college, and I paid cash out of my own pocket, and I took an accounting class for the summer, and then I also took a journalism class for the fall. Up until this point, I had never gotten any student loans. So I got bored of San Diego as well, and I decided to move to LA, where I'm currently at. And I started going back to a community college here in Los Angeles last fall. The program that I intend to go towards is engineering, because in high school, junior year, my 11th grade, I went all the way up to calculus, but I did not even need that class at all, because I had already gotten my 4 years of math like taken care of the year before when I was a sophomore. I got a B the first semester, and then the second semester I got an F, because at that point, like, I didn't even care about the class anymore. I wasn't even trying. I didn't care at all, because again, I was 17 or 18 back then. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and I didn't really think that, like, I had no reason to, you know? That's the reason that I wanted to go into probably engineering at this point, is because I was better in math and science. I struggle with English classes sometimes just because I really detest doing essays and research papers. I was expected to read Julius Caesar, which was incredibly boring to me. I hated it because I was just so uninterested in that. Now, like, researching everything for myself and deciding what my strengths are and, being honest about my weaknesses, like, English is a weakness for me just because I don't enjoy it and I don't do great in it. I recently have been really antsy about like wanting to just finish school, but the thing for me is that I just hate the entire college system and I hate that you can't accelerate your courses. I also work full time, so I have to like work around school. The only thing that is hard for me is because I have to start taking calculus classes. Those classes are harder to get scheduled in because there's only one calculus class offered this coming fall. The higher I go, the harder the classes are for me to schedule into my full-time job. That's the reason that I am choosing right now to look for online programs, but online programs are super sketchy to me, and it's very hard. Like, I don't want to end up going to an online program, online college, and then coming to find out that my program wasn't like accredited in any way. I chose ASU online, and right now I am really nervous because they have a lot of standards, and which is good. I'm not saying that colleges shouldn't have standards, but one of the standards that they have is that they're very strict about what you did in high school, but it's like, I went to high school over 11 years ago, so I don't know why you're judging me for things that I wasn't worried about back then. In my high school back then, they only required me to take 2 sciences with laboratories, but ASU says that their requirements is that you need 3 high school science classes with labs, but I didn't know that. I was just doing the basics and the bare minimum because I just didn't know. I was a kid back then, so I had no idea. So that's the trouble that I'm having with, and what I'm nervous about is that I didn't take 3 science classes. I took 2, a chemistry and a biology, and those are the only things I took. And I'm considering maybe moving from Los Angeles and moving to the East Coast and trying a different life. School is such a hard thing because I just started going back to school again here in Los Angeles, and I'm already feeling like I might want to move, and so like I can't necessarily pick up exactly where I left off. If I do move to an entirely new state, preferably on the East Coast, I'm gonna have to start all over again at their community college. And people say like, oh, it'll just transfer your credits, but like anybody that has experience with transferring credits, especially from community college to another community college, the process is really annoying, and more than half of the time they will not give you credit and they will not transfer a lot of your credits to the new school that you're going to. So I already know that's a reality, and that's what I'm gonna have to deal with. And it would be such a shame to go to a new place and then find out that all those times that I woke up at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. meant nothing because that class and the credit that I was going for isn't going to transfer into a new place. I got into the point where now, like, I'm sure I want to do something in the engineering field, whether it be computer science, whether it be mechanical or electrical. That's why I was really interested in this ASU program specifically for electrical engineering. But if I continue doing what I'm doing right now, the community college level, to transfer to a University of California or to California State University, I have to do by their rules, and I can't rush it any more than I already am. Like, it's not like I can take Calculus 1 just for a couple months and then take Calculus 2 as soon as I'm done with Calculus 1. Like, I can't make the course go from August to September and finish it right away if I accelerate it. Like, there's no way I can do that. So that's what kind of irritates me about regular traditional brick and mortar schools, is that I can't rush it any more than it operates. And that's a big frustration for me as being someone that's kind of more independent in learning and independent in a lot of things. Like, I maybe want to move again, so I wish online schools were a lot better, and I wish there was a lot more flexibility. That's where I'm at right now, is that I applied to the ASU online electrical program, and I'm terrified that I'm going to get rejected, and there is a strong chance that I will, because there's one competency that I am not meeting, a high school science class, because I only just took chemistry and biology, and from what I understand, you had to have taken 3. So that's the thing that is kind of like I'm terrified is that I'm not going to get in, which I'm not saying that they don't need to have high standards for the engineering program. I totally get that. I just wish it was a different kind of admission thing where you can like just take an exam and then prove to the school or the recruiter that you have the mental capabilities to do this. My GPA right now is 3.4. It could have been a little bit better, but you know, I'm trying my best to juggle full-time school and full-time work. So of course, you know, every now and then there's going to be things that maybe I didn't do the best that I could have, juggling both of them. So I'm just hoping that my GPA is well above their 3.0, that they will give me a chance because of that, because other than that, like, it just kind of sucks because it's like I'm so close, like so close to meeting like dead on their requirements, and it just sucks that knowing that I could possibly not get accepted just for this one thing that I really had no control over 11 years ago in my past. I'm hoping to keep you updated with that and how that goes. I mean, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed right now, because it would be perfect for me, like I can move anywhere I want to and I can still attend school. This is just, again, my opinion. You don't have to agree with my opinion, but I feel like there's a lot of kids that are going to school for things that aren't benefiting the US economy. And I was watching this one video in particular. I think it was this girl that went to law school and her struggles and how it's hard and she's in debt and all this stuff. And what she said is that people are going to school and trying to make something happen that isn't realistic. And she said something along the lines of, you have to get in where you can fit in. Understood that as the reality is that our market and our economy is not what we've been told our entire lives, that you can just go to school forever, whatever you want and you'll be successful. Because I'm sure we know a lot of people that went to school and into debt and still don't have a career job that they went to school for, and they're in debt. So that is my biggest concern, is I don't want to waste my time on something where I'm not going to at least get a decent paying job. I'm not saying I want to be a millionaire, but at least with engineering programs and stuff like that, you can actually produce stuff. And I feel like the United States kind of stopped producing stuff. It feels like now we just put ourselves in debt and we buy a lot of cheap stuff overseas, which I'm not necessarily against that, because I mean, if that's the free trade, then I'm all for free trade. I like free trade. If somebody in the United States wants to buy something really cheap from China, then by all means go do it. But I also think at the same time that we as the United States economy have stopped producing. Anyways, like I said, I'll keep you posted on what's going on. I just applied yesterday. I'm still waiting for 2 more transcripts to make it to ASU.